mom's blood is coming. She's almost drowning her own son in her blood, man. This is like one of the worst mom death scene ever. And this scene just came out of nowhere too. Goddamn, this anime is crazy, right? You watch the episode, and suddenly, like the first minute, it's just like, oh, here's the mom death scene. And you're like, oh? Yeah, it's like, yeah. King, he mentioned Miriam, right? And then Bojji has his flashback. And then we go back, of course, to the current episode. And as I mentioned earlier in the reaction report, this is why anime is so good too, because some animes, right, they don't make it work when you jump back and forth and so on, right? But this anime is so good, like seeding in that information, right? Throwing in that like interpretation. Okay, here's a scene where Miriam got hurt, right? What does that mean, right? This anime is so good at like throwing this little, like mystery plot points at you, right? You can construct your own theory and so on. The anime is amazing that. That being said, that mom died though wasn't really like a big. I mean, it was sad, but it wasn't like a reveal or twist or whatever. I mean, we knew most of it dead, right? So that wasn't a big deal, but it was just very sad, right? Of course. But from a story aspect, it was something new. However, this is big, right? This happens. Miriam gets betrayed, I guess, from this orc soldier, yeah. So Miriam gets betrayed, and I guess here is how she got into the mirror, right? So yeah, Miriam killed Bojji's mom, and then she got killed by the same people that killed his mom, right? That is army of orc and ballistas or whatever, and that of course led to her, I guess, then jumping into the mirror, using the mirror before, right? We saw Satan kind of popping up there, and he gets maybe she or whatever put her in the mirror, right, so she could survive. So her soul or whatever, right, got into the mirror after this scene. So this is much bigger, right? I mean, from an emotional standpoint, of course, mom dying is bigger, very sad still. But from the narration standpoint, right? Yeah, now we know what she's in the mirror for. Now we know how she died, so to speak, and got into the mirror, right? That being said, though, this is why I really love this anime, right? That the mystery is so crazy, because you're like, okay, now I know how. It's more like, okay, I know how Miriam is in the mirror. She got betrayed by the orcs. They killed her. She had into her mirror she had, which was lying. Okay, so I know how, right? But we have no idea why she got betrayed, right? So it's very classic, this anime. They give you like a piece of the story, right? So you can kind of figure out, okay, this is how it happened. But we don't really know exactly, why it's happening, right? So this anime is so good at that, because you always get so intrigued, right? It throws that mystery at you, it explains half the mystery, right? And you want to see more of it, because like, okay, interesting, why did they betray it for? And then maybe in 4 or 5 episodes, you're gonna get more details, right? Why it happened, right? So, yeah, the anime is masterful at setting up these mystery standpoints, right? It really is. It really is. But the first scene was the best scene, man. Straight up, honestly. Yeah. The first scene was the best scene when mom died, right? That was the best scene. And Boji trying and so on. Honestly, the first 3 minutes. It took me for a surprise there, yeah. He's obviously Underworld king before this, right? So they're fighting him to take over the Underworld from the evil dad. So we see, of course, Okken with the brothers, right? Before he turned evil. And here again, right? Talking about the mystery plot and so on, right? I'm gonna assume, because I think it's pretty clear why, right? That Okken, of course, why he's this immortal crazy monster, that is, of course, to defeat his father, right? That's like a no-brainer to me. Obviously, Okken turned into this immortal monster thing, right? So he could fight his father. Come on, that's gonna be the story point. Again, right? That's what means anime. I don't know for sure that Okken did that, but that feels pretty predictable. But that's how the anime builds the mystery. We see Okken, like talking to his older brother about the evil fortress, right? And Okken, of course, is a very nice guy. He was a head Gigan, right? So Okken used to be this like heart, very, very, very emotional, I guess, very nice, very kind spirit, right? So he's a very kind spirit, and so it's pretty obvious that Okken felt that to protect the people, right? He needed to go evil, right? To defeat the bigger evil, right? So yeah, so I think it's pretty clear that Okken is gonna take the power as a self-sacrifice, right? To be able to save the people from his evil father. I mean, it's it's definitely there, right? So that's why I like the anime again, right? Because am I right in that? I am probably right in that, right? But that's why the anime is so well written, because you have all the mystery and trends and so on, and then you can kind of build your own interpretation, right? Sometimes the anime goes completely crazy, so it's hard to do it, but you can definitely see all the thread points, threading around, right? But anyway, so that's kind of the war, right? And obviously, it feeds some people, right? Because basically, their father had like an army of orcs, right? Or gigantes, but yeah, like big orcs, right? The whole army was like orcs. And yeah, and they hired one guy to fight them, so you can obviously see why poor Gigan got emotional. as it was like him fighting all of his family, right, basically. And as I said too, they got pissed off and so on, right, when they hurt children. But I think it's interesting how the king is written like King Desha. Because while he's a very obviously good tactician, he used the oil, used the burning, so he's obviously, as I saw earlier, last episode, he's not rank number 2, right? Because he's a very smart guy, right? He's not ranked number 2 because he's strong, but he's smarter than all the guys, right? So yeah, he's good at war, right? He's good at war. And like crying a bit, or he's like sad that he had to kill a kid and so on, right? Talking to his, at this time then, very kind-hearted brother Ocken, right? So again, this anime is so good at writing multifaceted, nuanced character, right? It's like similar to Domas. Domas betraying Bojji, but at the same time, not actually, loving Bojji and so on, right? And yeah, same thing with King Desha, right? Like he killed the kid, and so on. But at the same time, he's like, I didn't want to do it, but he didn't want to, create some kind of conflict or inner turmoil between him and his men and so on, right? So he was like, I'm just gonna mercy kill the kid, and then like, whatever, right? To try to, move on, and then it's like kind of crying here, it's only him and his brothers, right? And we see, of course, Despa puking and so on side, right? So good, so yeah, this anime is so well written because it feels like almost every character is, incredibly nuanced. That's the word I think fits the most, right? Like every character has this several sides to them, right? Like healing and so on too, right? So yeah, it's really interesting seeing his perspective and explaining so what he did, right? Hey man, this kid is like super powerful now. What happened? He's like, brother, he's way stronger than you. That was awesome. Come on, man, I love this scene. He calls his little brother, is like, hey man, this guy is like boss level of power. I don't understand. What have you done? And he's like, oh no, brother. This guy is stronger than Boss and you. Okay, don't fight him. You can't defeat him. He's like, what? He's stronger than me? No, he's stronger than you. I'm his master, but trust me, he's stronger than you. Send him to fight Boss instead. This guy is way stronger than Boss. Let him defeat Boss instead, yeah. He's like, I guess, yeah. Oh, it was so awesome. A stupid hype scene where he's like, trust me, big bro, this guy is the strongest fighter on the planet. Yeah, just don't fight him. You're gonna get owned. Oh, I love this scene. It is the hype scene, man. Oh, this anime is everything. It's wholesome. I mean, it has this thing too, right? Hokuro crying. He's like, I'm so happy that Tomodachi Kage is so on. It has everything going for it. But yeah, the first scene was the best scene, honestly, right? With the mom. And it gave, again, right, the mystery, the secret. We saw the mirror, right? Using the mirror weapons and so on. Leading to the Gigan backstory. And of course, the Gigan backstory, as I just talked about, it also gives you King Desha backstory, right? And Ocken backstory, and also, of course, Despa. Despa, I wouldn't say was... I mean, Despa was kind of like showing what really new, right? He was just, it's Despa, he's a nice guy. Yeah, his part of the backstory wasn't really anything new, which is what we knew, right? But the other characters, yeah, goddamn right. We're getting all the Ocken side and so on, too. So, man, this anime is so goddamn good. It easily is the best written anime this year. Easily. The older animes are even close. It's net another 11 as an episode. It truly is, man. This anime is such a goddamn masterpiece. But this episode had everything again, right? But I think that one thing that I come to terms with, this is like a weird way to say it, to come to terms with. What am I saying? I just want to put the last thing here, right? The last point here. One thing that I did my top 10, honestly, for last year, right? And I was like, okay, why is this anime the best anime? Why is like, Kanda-san? Why is Dragon Maid also in my top and so on, right? And I made this argument before, of course, like in my top 10 video. But I think I come to terms with them that what really makes this anime, and also again similar animes, or not maybe similar, but they also have thing going for them, is that it's like a multifaceted genre anime, right? Whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call it, right? But it's not got the name for it. But something like, you watch the episode, right? Again, like almost every episode in Ousama Ranking, you watch it, and first, like, super sad death scene, right? Here's a mom died, okay? Super goddamn death scene with mom, and that is followed, right, with this, like, I'm gonna protect my friend, Gigan. You get that kind of friendship thing. You get the Gigan sad backstory, but also you also get that, complicated, like, nuance, right, of, again, then King Desha, Ocken, and so on, and Despa, and you get the kind of the family mystery and the backstory, blah blah, and so on, right? You get that too, right? And then of course you get into the whole Hokuro, and it's like, oh my god, Kage, mom, it's so kawaii! And you get the whole wholesomeness stuff. We get Kage running up with Bojji at the stage, like, let's have a race, Bojji, yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, they get the wholesomeness, right? So, what this anime does, right, as I keep saying, because I think this, not the episode, right, where it proves that, is that it's very, very good at, mixing, like, quite a diverse kind of emotions, right? You have the wholesome, the horror, the death scene, right? Yeah, it's like a, because picture that, like, Titan. Okay, Attack on Titan, right? Spoilers at episode 1. Episode 1 spoilers. We had it last episode. Oh, yeah, Carl, of course. Aaron's mom dies, right? You know? Spoilers. But episode 1 Attack on Titan doesn't step a mixture really wholesomeness, right? On that Hokuro level wholesomeness with the death scene, right? It really doesn't. And also the death scene here was more sad than the car death scene. I think so, right? Because there is no real build up for her in the Titan. She gets build up after that, right? But anyway, yeah. It's mostly just kind of a horror episode, right? I think Titan episode 1, yeah. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying that it's mostly horror, right? It's horror and action, right? And a little bit of world building, but most of that, right? This anime, again, right, you have horror, death bomb, that scene, but also wholesomeness, right? You know what I mean? It's just a weird mixture. They shouldn't really fit, right? They're very far apart, right? But that this anime does really well, right? I kept saying I said it many times before, right? But I still think that's the real key point. What is a time for anime? Because it keeps having that episodes where you feel like, how can it both be incredibly sad for 3-4 minutes and also incredibly wholesome for 3-4 minutes, and then in the middle there's some kind of action thing. Yeah, it's like, it's always those that, right? And for example, then, like Dragon Maid, while not being as horror, right, it has wholesome, and it has action, it has comedy, it has etchy, right? It also mixing like 4 or 5 genres. For like 3 minutes there, 2 minutes that, 1 minute that, and it does it also incredibly well, right? That's also why it's a good anime. So, but it's honestly, in that sense, I think it's very similar to this anime because it keeps mixturing genres, so crazy, right? But anyway, yet another, I think, 10th episode, amazing episode, right? And what can I say, right? Tomorrow, subscribe guys, press the like button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with Black Clover and of course Vanitas. And also Harem. Harem 1 billion waifu, which is of course just a goddamn trash anime. But you know, I watch it, I laugh at it. That's an anime that I, of course, I purely watch it because it's goddamn trash. But it's hilarious trash, right? Anyway, see you guys and have a great day.